So last night, I ended up finding that buck. I saw him in like the last, I don't know, 3 minutes of daylight, literally. I kept tracking him even though I couldn't shoot. I just wanted to see like what direction he was going so I could get on him this morning. I'm parked back in this spot. I'm gonna hike back up to where I left him. I had him on a Onyx tracker. I know exactly where I left that track. I mean, big body. I didn't see his rack, but big body deer. So I'm hoping he's got some mass on those antlers. So this deer, even though he knew he was being pursued, he just kept laying down and laying down and laying down. So it's only a matter of time when he makes the wrong move and I'm there. So I'm gonna throw my pack on, hike up this mountain. I got probably a 2-hour hike before I'm even close to his track. We'll get on his track and we'll just keep trying. I mean, what a grind this year has been. But what a cool story it would be if I can kill this guy today. So day 2 of this track. Gonna get on this buck, try to take him home. Buck's not gonna know what hit him. I'm definitely feeling the grind getting up this mountain, but I just wanted to say a few things around why I'm going back. Last year I got one of the biggest bucks of my life on camera, and he was up in that area that I was tracking in yesterday. And when I saw this track, big toe dragger, big foot, really good stagger, walking duck foot, I'm like, this could be a nice deer. Then I found the beds. I'm like, okay, the beds aren't giant, but they're pretty big. And it looks like the buck was kind of bent like a banana. He wasn't quite stretched out. So I was like, all right, it might be him. Well, that buck, when he was trying to get away from me, he brought me all the way to the top of the mountain, dropped over the backside, and brought me straight towards one of the cameras that I had set up last year. Well, that camera was the one that got that giant buck, it captured him. So I'm starting to think, I'm like, okay, I saw the body last night, really big body, really big track, really big bed, rutting pretty hard. It's late November. Those bigger bucks tend to do a second round toward the end of November. I'm like, this could be that giant 8 that I've been looking for. So just on a chance of it being that giant 8, I'm backtracking myself. I think it's 3.5 miles all the way back to where I left that buck. And then I'm just gonna creep on him all day. I'm gonna try to catch him in his first bed. I purposely wore him out. He laid down 8 times. I did not want to let him lay down at all once I got on him. So I just bumped him and bumped him and bumped him and bumped him, hoping that I would eventually be above him, looking down in the hardwoods when I found him next. That last jump, I had exactly that. It was open softwoods, super open softwoods with a mix of hardwoods, and he actually laid down right in the middle of a moose run. I saw a flash. I'm like, oop, that looked like a deer, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, son of a bitch, I missed him. So I'm looking for a bed, and I find a bed, and I mean, this is the last 3 minutes of daylight. Find the bed, and I just get this sense that I'm being watched, and I look to the right, and he's all the way over here to the right, broadside, and that's when he books it. Unfortunately, it was after illegal shooting hours, and I did not have nearly enough light to even see his rack. So I'm hoping that strategy worked yesterday. It's sort of a combination of a few factors. I mean, he's been rutting really hard. I had him on all sorts of different does, just running around like a psycho. He ended up laying down twice after that run around. And then I tracked him to his first bed that I jumped him out of. And he had 3 beds right there and was just feeding. So jumped him out of that bed. He only went like 200 yards and then laid down in open hardwoods, but like way out of the way that I'd ever be able to see him. It was so steep. And he ended up jumping out of that. So I just think this buck he's He's tired from the rut. He's alone. He's rutted up bad, but doesn't seem to have any does near him. Like, this is my last opportunity, I think, this year to get on a very mature buck and kill him. So, especially on snow. So I'm just going to do my best. I'm going to get up on this deer and see if we can make it happen. Pushing through the pain right now. I got sore knees, sore thighs, sore calf, sore back. But this is deer tracking. You got to be resilient. Gonna get some water, eat some food, take a piss, and then get back on this trail. I'm close to where I left that buck. My guess is he's gonna dip down into this bullshit. I don't really care as long as I'm above him and he's below me. You know, thermals are gonna shift this morning. They're gonna be going uphill. I should be coming down over the top of him. I'm gonna try to catch him in his first bed, do it right, shoot him while he's sleeping. We'll see. Clean water. Day number 2. Let's kill this deer. It's been a long time coming. I got him in the middle of nowhere on top of this ridge. He's laid down a ton of times. This last time I bumped him, you can tell he's just kind of like skirting and walking because the snow is deep. I bet this buck runs for a little bit, starts walking, and I'm really hoping that wherever he lays down, I can see him and shoot him laying down. I don't want this running and chasing shit to go on all day. I'm gonna say I don't know if I got it in me, but that's a lie. I would do it anyway. Through a pretty thick softwood knob and then straight through open hardwoods. So I imagine he did this all last night. Still no bed. I think we've probably gone about a mile, maybe a little less. He's about to bring me back across the power lines, which again is to my advantage. It's pretty open over there. The topography's a little bit easier, so you know, if we're chasing this thing on flat ground, flatter ground, I can go all day. It's when we start getting into that super tight, steep incline type terrain that makes it really difficult to keep pace, especially when the snow is deep. So I got snot running out of my nose. I'm dehydrated, but I'm pretty optimistic that I wore the shit out of this buck yesterday. Like, I think he's on the backside of the rut. He laid down 8 times. Like, he's got to lay down again, and he's got to feed. I didn't see him feeding much. So hopefully we find bed number 1, we shoot him in it, or he's feeding up on his feet, and I can spot him out in the open and get a shot. Across the power lines we go. Finally found feeding sign. You can see he's eating those trees and buds. We're gonna find the first bed real soon. If not him. I'm really hoping we find him. Yep. Yep, okay, that's still him. Whew, this is crazy. Alright, here's the big buck's first bed. After I jumped him. I'm gonna eat a quick snack. Let's see if he's going down. Yeah, he keeps going down. He's heading towards the truck, so if I could kill him, that'd be great. I've been on this buck for some time now. Let's see. The tracker says I've been on him for 4.5 hours. It's 1:44. I just found his first bed. It's covered up because there was like a light dusting last night. But he's continuing to go down the ridge. I actually crossed his track this morning and didn't see it in the dark. And it had been covered, so I would have had no idea that it was his. But he brought me off the top of the ridge, checked a bunch of doe beds, crossed the snowmobile trail again, bedded on this ridge, and he's still going down. So I'm really hoping to get on this buck here pretty soon. There's not a lot of snow in his track, so it's going to be easier for me to distinguish his from all the other does that are in here. I'm going to eat a quick snack and head down this ridge. Hopefully catch him in the open. These are very shootable woods. Where I had him earlier yesterday, there was no chance of getting a shot off. Here, I might be able to see him 100 yards out and whack him. So I'm still optimistic. This would probably be my craziest track job ever if we end up killing this deer. So fingers crossed. Melt block. The buck I'm trying to kill went this way. That might be his bed right there. I'm just hoping I can get a shot on this thing. He's got me in crunchy old snow. That's definitely his track going down. It looks like his bed, nice and big. I'm hanging on by a thread here. I've got tracks going all over the friggin' place, and it's just really shitty snow because we're down low and they didn't get as much down here. I still somehow have his track though. It's taken me probably 25 minutes to work it out, and he's still going down the ridge. Got a nice bed, like a really nice bed right behind me. And believe it or not, I think that this buck is working down into the area that he's been living, which isn't up top, which is what I had theorized before. I think he sort of voyaged yesterday, and I happened to catch him on the right day. He sort of went up, did a big loop, got bumped by me, and then went all the way up and came all the way back down home. So I'm going to keep following this deer. I'm really hoping that I don't run into any more tracks or a lot more tracks. I can just stay on this one guy. I keep getting whiffs of buck, man. I think he's down here, but I'm not sure. It's sort of faint. Usually when they're within like 40 to 60 yards, you can really smell them. So I'm hoping that this buck is down here. The thermal's still in my favor. It's gonna switch soon, but I'm still in the game somehow. Like, this is actually crazy. That's what 2 days of tracking looks like on the same buck. I think I did 15 hours or so on him. I just lost him. I mean, literally just before it got dark. I don't think I was gonna get to catch up to him. I spent way too much time sort of heel to toe through open hardwoods, and then I went way too slow through the softwood up on top. The buck's behavior was telling me that he was gonna lay down. Basically, I didn't jump him, I just sort of bumped him just before it got dark yesterday, and he took like, I don't know, 10 bounds and then just walked. And I mean, he walked forever. Started feeding way above the snowmobile trail. I was like, okay, I'm gonna be able to kill him here. So heel to toe through the open hardwoods again. And this buck ended up bringing me literally all the way to the bottom of the mountain. So I lost 1,400 feet today just following that deer. He brought me into this really interesting spot. It's sort of a buck haven. There's a bunch of new rubs in here. I think I counted 4 active signposts. So I'm going to be able to leverage that information, especially for archery season. I got to get a couple cell cams out in here. But I think just final thoughts on it, like, if I don't end up getting a buck this year, it won't be lack of effort. Like, I have put everything into killing my deer in New Hampshire since last year was a bust as well. I've seen 3 bucks, which is not a bad year for New Hampshire. I just haven't had any solid opportunities to get a clean shot. It's all been just they're running through absolute bullshit. Or they're bumping before I can even see them, and then there's no shot. So I mean, I'm grateful to see deer, that's for sure. Saw a stupid amount of doe, so we're probably gonna have to clean them out soon. But I got one more weekend in me before the season closes. We'll see if I end up hunting before work this week. I've been trying to do that, but it's just getting to be a lot. The window's really short for daylight, and I mean, my body's definitely getting tired from the season. I mean, I probably hiked, 20 something miles in the last 2 days. So it's been a grind. But I appreciate everybody watching. We're gonna try to get a buck on the ground before the end of the season. It's just gonna be a matter of opportunity. So stay tuned, try to get some more videos out. I've got some archery stuff that I'll put on the internet. At least you'll see sort of a first-hand perspective of how I think about the woods and how I'm finding these bucks. It hasn't so much been an issue of finding bucks, it's been an issue of being able to actually shoot the buck. So we'll see, just need one good opportunity, but thanks for sticking around, I appreciate it.